Brooke Wheeler shook, gripping the hospital sink's edge, forcing herself to look up. The harsh, unforgiving fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, illuminating her bloated face, furious red welts, yellowish blisters the size of dimes pouring clear fluid. And it smelled like low tide on a hot summer day. "Oh, God," she whispered, in a foreign voice. 3 days earlier, she smiled at the esthetician in the Coastal Tranquility Spa mirror. Martha promised Brooke she'd appear 10 years younger, caressing her shoulder. She remembered Dr. Reeves's words. "It's eating through your skin." The room spinning buckled Brooke's knees. Before darkness took her, she saw her mirror, a horrible mask over her face. Like and comment with your city of observation. Proceed with the tale. Millhaven, Maine, a craggy peninsula in the Atlantic, didn't welcome visitors. In this village of ancient Victorian mansions and tiny lanes that whispered secrets with each ocean wind, family names on cemetery headstones mirrored those on mailboxes. After the last tourists left and the maple trees were practically bare in late October, Millhaven rested, a collective breath before the long New England winter. Brooke Wheeler chose this spot since no one knew her tale. In Boston, she was poor Brooke, the art teacher whose husband left her for his 23-year-old paralegal. She might be anyone. She arrived in July with Emma and enough money from the divorce settlement to put down a deposit on a modest blue home, 3 blocks from her elementary school teaching job. Brooke, tall and willowy with chestnut hair and natural curls beyond her shoulders, still turned heads at 29. Photographers found her high cheekbones, wide-set hazel eyes, and slightly crooked smile interesting rather than gorgeous. Even 8 months after her divorce, she wore her wedding band. She told her sister it keeps the inquiries away, but they knew better. Emma, at 7, resembled her mother, with the same artistic spirit but her father's obstinate chin. She spoke to the local cats as if they understood her, arranged seashells and elaborate designs on her window ledge, and asked Brooke difficult questions. Could Daddy stop loving me if he stops loving you? At 35, their neighbor Noah Sullivan lived in the white Cape Cod across the street. This former military physician moved with the precision of a man who had seen too much. His service dog Duke accompanied him as he wrote medically from home. Noah mainly remained to himself, but he shoveled their walkway after snowstorms and taught Emma to recognize constellations on clear evenings. For 43 years, Millhaven's lone dermatologist was Dr. Evelyn Reeves, with silver hair constantly in a bun and aged but steady hands. She treated everything from fisherman's frostbite to teens' acne with the same no-nonsense approach and folk wisdom that made terrible news bearable. Martha Calloway opened a beach tranquility spa on Main Street in September, claiming her grandmother was born in Millhaven. Nobody remembered the family. Martha, 60, with a Georgia accent too sophisticated for local tastes, promised big city luxury to this charming coastal treasure. The manila envelope arrived on Tuesday between a Pottery Barn catalog and an electric bill. As she carried the letter inside, Brooke clenched her gut when she saw her ex-husband's law firm's return address. Emma set her mug of cooling coffee on the kitchen counter while playing with her buddy at her house. Brooke slid her finger under the flap and drew out the documents she needed to sign to settle their last joint property. Jason's grandmother's Cape Cod beach cottage, where Emma had taken her first steps. Sign the marked pages and return them by Friday. Read the sticky note in her ex-husband's administrative assistant hand. No personal note or acknowledgement of memory split like silverware. Brooke put the papers away and scratched her temples. The phone rang. The upbeat tone contradicted her emotions. "Hello?" she replied, unsure of the number. "Jason's voice is still hauntingly recognizable after months, Brooke." She closed her eyes. "Got the documents. Good, good. That's not why I'm calling. A break. I wanted to discuss Thanksgiving. Please let Emma stay with me throughout the long weekend." Brooke grabbed the counter. "As arranged, I'd have her for Thanksgiving and you Christmas Eve." "I know, but Caitlin's parents invited us to their lake cottage. I thought Emma would enjoy their gingerbread house tradition." Paralegal Caitlin, 23-year-old Stanford graduate with beautiful teeth. This woman would spend Thanksgiving with Brooke's daughter. "Sharing a room?" Brooke asked before stopping. Jason sighed. "Do not, Brooke. We discussed this. Emma needs to witness our maturity in this scenario." She developed a throat lump. "Give me time to consider." "Sure," he answered, speaking softly. "How are you up there? Making friends?" I'm fine. School busy. Children are great. And you, do you take care of yourself and enjoy life? The question hurt more than being harsh. He felt sorry. She repeated and added, I'm okay. I should go. Have papers to grade. After hanging up, Brooke stood still in her kitchen, listening to the old fridge hum. She saw herself in the window over the sink, tired eyes, hair in a quick ponytail, and a wider worry line between her brows than last year. Every day of her 29 years and more, she gazed. An ad caught her eye in the local newspaper on the table. Exclusive Seaside Serenity Spa grand opening. This week only, 50% off all services to rejuvenate your spirit and skin. 20 minutes later, Brooke was walking along Main Street, her cheeks rosy from the cool October air. The spa replaced Millhaven's hardware shop. The brick front was recently painted cream, the windows had lovely gold lettering, and Noah Sullivan emerged from the bookstore next door with his service dog Duke as she paused on the pavement. Afternoon, Brooke, he murmured, nodding to the spa. Thinking about treating yourself, she said. Offering a special? Noah's face was neutral until last week. Elegant for Millhaven. Heard anything about it? Shrugging. Just that the pricing appeared too wonderful to be true. Mom always said if anything sounds too good to be true. Probably is, Brooke concluded, smiling slightly. A facial is sometimes just a facial. Noah nodded, staring at her too long. He ended by saying, enjoy, before walking down the sidewalk. Duke faithfully follows. Brooke entered to a quiet doorbell. Interior remodeling was even greater. Hidden speakers played soothing music. Essential scents filled the air, and the welcome area had a small, burbling fountain encircled by river stones. It felt like entering another world. Hi there. Martha Calloway entered down a hallway. Her dark silver-streaked hair twisted elegantly. Her white linen blouse and flowing slacks made her look like a boat captain rather than a small-town businesswoman. You must be new to our sanctuary. I'm Brooke Wheeler. Town is my home. Yes, you do. Honey, I think I saw you at elementary school. You're the art teacher, right? Oh my. You look better up close. Brooke blushed despite herself at the Southern-style flattery. She pointed to the window and said, I saw your opening special. I considered getting a facial. Martha smiled wider. Aren't you lucky? A cancellation happened this afternoon. I'll gladly look after you. She conspiratorially leaned in. Between us. I generally work with VIP clientele, but I feel you. Do you need some pampering, sweetheart? Brooke followed Martha down a hallway to a blue and green treatment room before she realized it. Martha suggested Brooke change into a comfortable robe for her rejuvenation facial. It includes deep washing, exfoliation, a nourishing mask, and our proprietary hydration treatment. Your skin will absorb it. Martha applied lotions and serums with experienced hands while explaining their unusual ingredients to Brooke on the treatment table. The unusually harsh granular scrub made Brooke wince during exfoliation. Martha promised to remove dead skin cells. We must go deep to alter your gorgeous skin. Brooke smelled something strange in the water she'd been using. Slightly brackish like seawater, but with a chemical tang. When Martha left to get the mask, was that water special? After Martha returned, Brooke inquired, your nose is good? Yes, indeed. Our own mineral water. We add marine trace minerals, great for inflammation. Martha put on a chilly tingle mask. This may feel stronger than usual, which means it works. It was hot, searing, and painful. Brooke shifted slightly. Relax, honey. Martha calmed. Beauty involves some sacrifice, right? Look how this enhances your natural radiance. Brooke left the treatment room feeling pampered but tender-skinned after 90 minutes. A gently lit changing room mirror showed her rosy, rejuvenated face. Martha pressed a small sample bottle into her palm and assured her that healthy blush will settle by evening. Try this moisturizer tonight instead of your usual. Honey, your ex will kick himself from here to Sunday when he sees you next. Brooke giggled. Surprised, Martha understood her dilemma. Thank you. It felt great. Brooke walked home in the late afternoon sunshine with a newfound lightness. For a minute, feeling attractive again was worth the faint tingle in her skin. She had no idea that by midnight, the sensation would become something more terrible, the first hint that something microscopic and ravenous had entered her freshly exfoliated skin and started a feast that would change her life forever. Brooke saw something was wrong by morning. The tingling became searing and woke her at 3 a.m. Squinting against the glaring light, she scrutinized her reflection in the bathroom. Her cheekbones were tight and glossy from sunburn. "Just an allergic reaction," she whispered, reaching for her contact lens saline. She gently pushed a washcloth drenched in the cool liquid against her warm flesh. She fell asleep after the brief relief. When her alarm went off at 6:30, the fire had grown. When she called the school administration, Brooke's fingers shook. The secretary said Millhaven Elementary. Since Reagan, Betty Wilkins had worked the front desk. "Hey, Betty," Brooke Wheeler. "I worry I need a substitute today. Having an allergic reaction." "You poor thing." "My sister suffers terrible shellfish illnesses." "Hi, honey, take care of yourself. Someone will cover your classes." Brooke sent Emma to school with a neighbor's daughter because she got food sickness. Avoid worrying the child. She went back to bed and applied ice compresses to her face all morning. Her worries began at midday. Small raised pimples formed on her forehead and cheeks as the redness expanded. She called Seaside Serenity Spa but got a voicemail with hours. Martha's sweet voice said to leave a message. Brooke explained her problems and asked what was in her facial products. Brooke covered the worst redness with makeup when Emma arrived home. "Dear, I'm much better," she told her daughter. "How was school today?" Emma talked about art class and playground politics as Brooke made a modest dinner, cringing as the stove heat intensified her face burning. Once Emma was asleep, Brooke returned to the toilet to find the lumps had expanded and some had become blisters filled with liquid pus. A surge of anxiety hit her. She needs medical attention. She knew. However, getting Emma into the car for a 40-minute drive to Portland's emergency hospital seemed overwhelming. If it wasn't serious, she'd look silly, an adult woman freaking out over a botanical extract reaction. She decided to wait till morning. "If no improvement, I'll phone Dr. Wilson." Brooke huddled on her bathroom floor at midnight, applying towel-wrapped ice to her face. Burning became awful. Blisters grew. Worse, she smelled something nasty and weird from her skin. She called Martha but got no response. Noah Sullivan discovered Brooke missed the school bus the next morning. Emma's purple bag bounced as she rushed to meet her friends, Brooke waving from the porch with her coffee mug. Emma walked alone to the bus station, looking little and uncertain. Noah was a veteran medic who trusted his instincts when things felt amiss. After writing his morning homework, he crossed the block and knocked on Brooke's door. Her car was in the driveway, but no answer. His knock was louder. "Brooke," Noah from across the street. "Everything okay inside?" Silence lasted till he would turn away. A feeble voice followed. "I'm all right, just sick. You sound bad." Noah touched the door. 12 years as a battlefield medic. "Maybe I can assist." More silence. Shuffling followed. The door cracked, revealing darkness. "I suppose I'm having a severe reaction to a face treatment," Brooke replied, her voice heavy. "I'll be all right after antihistamines kick in." "Let me see," Noah said kindly. "Allergic responses might worsen quickly." "No, I look messy. Really, it's embarrassing." "Brooke, I've treated warriors with soiled t-shirts holding their intestines. No matter what, it won't surprise me." The beat passed. The door widened. Brooke stood half hidden in the entryway shadows, one hand concealing her lower face even in the faint light. Noah saw considerable swelling around her eyes, furious red skin, and most alarming yellowish blisters on her forehead. Jesus breathed. "How long has this happened?" "It started yesterday morning and has worsened in recent hours." Noah moved closer, professional instinct overriding social norms. He asked, extending his hand to her face, "May I?" Brooke hesitated, then nodded as his professional fingers gently raised her chin toward the doorway light. He immediately smelled something basic and scary, not infection. He demanded a hospital, leaving no room for debate. Not a typical allergic reaction. "But Emma, I'll contact Mrs. Patterson next door. She can grab Emma from school." Noah pulled out his phone. "We must take you to the doctor now." "Not like this," Brooke whimpered, tears in her swollen eyes. "I can't show myself this way." "Then we'll visit Portland instead of the clinic." "But Brooke, we're leaving." Brooke was in pain and humiliated on the way to Portland. Noah reassured her, but she kept her face to the passenger window with a shawl around her bottom half. Though low, the air conditioning felt like needles on her irritated skin. Noah asked, eyes fixated on the road, "What happened at this spa?" Brooke described the facial, the odd water smell, and the burning sensation. "Owner contact has been attempted. Left message yesterday. She hasn't called." Noah tightened his steering wheel grip. That's wrong. At Portland Memorial Hospital, the triage nurse saw Brooke and ushered her past the congested waiting area. She phoned for a doctor. Within minutes, her professional composure was replaced by urgency in her eyes. Brooke was surrounded by serious medical staff examining her blistered flesh. Questions flew in. Did she have any allergies? Had she lately visited abroad? Was she swimming in freshwater lakes? I just got a facial, Brooke said, slurring as the edema intensified, at Millhaven's new spa. We need dermatology here, remarked an ER doctor with salt and pepper hair. This doesn't look like an allergic response or chemical burn. Dr. Evelyn Reeves came 20 minutes later, her white coat pristine and her motions unhurried, despite the urgency of her summoning. She presented herself like a dermatologist who had seen every ailment, despite being nearly 70. Let's look, sweetie, she murmured, putting on gloves and adjusting her spectacles. Unlike the other doctors who kept their distance, Dr. Reeves examined Brooke's skin with a magnifying glass and delicate fingers. She sniffed gently, then deliberately. Noah said 36 hours since the facial when Brooke winced too much to speak. Dr. Reeves nodded and addressed the attending doctor. I must take samples for culture and microscopy immediately, and start her on a broad-spectrum antibiotic and antifungal while waiting. I'm taking fluid from one of these blisters, honey, she said, Brooke. It'll hurt, but we must know. Brooke clutched the examining table while Dr. Reeves worked, tears flowing down her face. Noah stood nearby. His militaristic posture contrasted with his delicate tissue dabbing of her tears. The spa owner, Dr. Sir Reeves, stated while taking samples. She had what name? Martha Calloway. Brooke did. Even though she moved to Mill Haven, her grandma was from there. Just briefly, Dr. Reeves's hands froze. Her tone was inscrutable when she repeated Martha Calloway. About 60 Southern accent. It hurt Brooke to nod. I see. Dr. Sir Reeves worked silently before speaking. Miss Wheeler, this is aggressive and spreading quickly. Controlling it before it spreads to your facial tissue is crucial. Will I be okay? Brooke asked, hating her tiny voice. Dr. Reeves looked at her. I'll do everything I can to make sure you are, but we're dealing with significant issues. Noah was brought aside by Dr. Reeves in the hallway as Brooke was being admitted. You claimed medical expertise. Yes, ma'am. 12 years, 3 Afghanistan tours. Good. She needs someone with a strong stomach and a calm head. Reeves looked back to the exam room. I've seen this or something similar. It's what? I won't know till the tests return. I think we have an acanthamoeba infection, a microscopic bacterium that can consume skin tissue in the correct conditions. Noah frowned. From a facial, probably from polluted face water. 30 years ago, I treated 3 women with similar symptoms. All attended a new Augusta day spa. Dr. Reeves' pupil shrank. The owner was Margaret Calloway. She disappeared during the health department investigation. Do you think it's the same woman and not a coincidence? In my 68 years on Earth, young guy, I've observed that malice and negligence rarely combine. Dr. Reeves adjusted her glasses. Ms. Wheeler needs an advocate. The condition will likely worsen before improving. You up for that? Noah reclaimed his military posture. Yes, ma'am. Good. Because if this is true, we'll fight hard. The hospital room was unsettlingly quiet, but for monitor beeps and corridor rubber-soled shoe squeaks. Brooklyn sat on starched pillows within 4 of antibiotics and antifungals. After seeing herself in the mirror and crying, she insisted on covering it with a pillowcase. Your body is fighting hard, the nurse reminded her on the previous vitals check. Dr. Reeves ordered specialty drugs. They should arrive soon. Brooke closed her eyes to sleep, but the scorching kept her awake. She pictured amoebas. They were eating her skin cells, proliferating and spreading, according to Dr. Reeves. Her gut lurched at the thought. Noah entered after a light knock. He had a little duffel bag and seemed exhausted from hours of errands. He dropped the suitcase on a chair and added, I brought some of your things, including your toothbrush, comfortable clothes, and the book from your bedside. Mrs. Patterson helped me find in a whisper. Brooke questioned Emma. While at the Pattersons, she's fine. Her daughter Lily is in her class, so she sees it as an extended play date. A chair was placed beside the bed by Noah. I told her you had a nasty spa reaction and required a few days in the hospital to recover. Did she request my visit? Noah paused. She did. I told her doctors must stabilize you first. Brooke's tears hurt her irritated skin. She shouldn't see me like this. She'd be scared. Noah gently remarked, "Kids are more resilient than we think, but we don't have to decide now." For a few minutes, unasked questions weighed on them in companionable stillness. "Why are you doing this?" Finally, Brooke inquired. "We barely know each other." Noah pondered her question, looking beyond the glass. "In Afghanistan, I learned about real community. Step up when someone's in trouble. They need aid and you can help, not because you know them well." Shrugging. As simple as that, Dr. Reeves and a younger doctor in surgical scrubs appeared before Brooke could react. Stark contrasts between them. Dr. Reeves had a silver hairdo and pressed lab coat, while Ms. Wheeler had rumpled appearance and day-old beard. "Hi, Dr. Bennett from Infectious Disease," Reeves introduced. Dr. Bennett nodded, his eyes compassionate despite his exhaustion. "He'll work with us on your case. I know you're suffering. This will be treated immediately with stronger medication." Brooke asked the test results, fearing them. Dr. Reeves nods. "As expected, we're dealing with acanthamoeba, a soil and water-dwelling amoeba. Except in rare situations through contact lenses or cuts or scrapes, it's harmless to people. From spa water," Brooke stated. "Most likely. Your rigorous facial exfoliation caused small, invisible cuts called microabrasions. Contagious water gave an ideal entrance place." Dr. Reeves's face stiffened. "Facial treatment water should be sterile or filtered." Dr. Bennett did not show Brooke a treatment plan on a tablet. "We're giving you oral and topical drugs to tackle this bacterium. I'll be honest, Miss Wheeler, the therapy is aggressive and may hurt, but it's our best chance to stop the illness from spreading." "How terrible will it get?" Brooke asks. Small voice, the physicians glanced. "The next 72 hours matter," Dr. Reeves concluded. "If we can't control the infection in that window, it could spread to underlying tissues, or the circulation from the dermis." Brooke's dilemma hit her like a wave. This was more than a few-day negative reaction. "This might kill. Will I?" Swallowed hard. "Does my face ever look normal again?" Another weighty look between doctors. "Please focus on infection management," Dr. Bennett stated. "After that, Dr. Bennett, we can consider reconstructive possibilities." It seemed like Brooke's life was over when reconstructive was mentioned. Noah stayed after the physicians left, calming Brooke. She advised him to return home. "You've done enough. I'll stay longer," he replied, opening her book to a bookmark. "How about reading? May distract you." Brooke closed her eyes and felt safe for a moment as Noah's rich voice read words from a manuscript she wrote before her face became a battleground. Emma Wheeler, across town, carefully colored a picture of a woman with flowing brown hair and flowers while sitting cross-legged on Lily Patterson's bedroom floor. "Your mom?" Peering over, Lily questioned. Emma nodded. "She's sick, but will recover." She chose a pink lip crayon. "My dad arrives tomorrow. His friend will meet me," he said. "Like a girlfriend?" Lily inquired with 7-year-old bluntness. I think Emma frowned. "I make Mom unhappy by talking about her." Mrs. Patterson entered. "Emma, honey, a call from your dad. He wants to chat." Emma took the cordless phone into the hallway, embarrassed to talk to Lily. "Daddy." "Hey, pumpkin." Jason Wheeler spoke with the forced joy of a dad delivering bad news. "How are you at Patterson's?" "Good. Lily keeps Chuck, a hamster." "That's terrific, honey. I heard Mom is sick, so I'll come up a day early. My arrival is tomorrow afternoon." "You bringing Caitlin?" After hearing the interaction, Emma questioned. "A break." "No, honey. Now, just me. Mom needs our support, and I want you to be safe." "Was Mom sick?" Mr. Sullivan stated she had a reaction but would recover. Jason stated the physicians are treating her well, avoiding the issue. "See you tomorrow." "Okay. I adore you. To the skies and back." Emma concluded their ritual. Emma added a bright yellow sun on her drawing after hanging up. Her child sensed something was wrong but couldn't describe the nameless anxiety that lay like a stone in her gut. As night fell at Portland Memorial, Brooke's health worsened. The blisters had ruptured, leaving tender, weeping places that the nurses tenderly cleansed and dressed with medication. The agony outgrew the original drugs, so Dr. Bennett ordered stronger ones. "Like my face is melting," the night nurse heard Brooke whisper. "Gloria is a mother with 20 years of experience." "I know, honey. By dawn, Dr. Reeves's medicine should arrive. It'll battle harmful bugs better than our current method." Gloria adjusted eye, fifth line. Get rest. Your body requires strength to fight. Rest didn't arrive. Brooke spent the night alone with her thoughts and memories as the hospital was reduced to a skeleton personnel. She remembered when Jason told her he was going on a lovely Tuesday as she was organizing their anniversary surprise. The shock that hit her as she sat at their kitchen table, unable to absorb his remarks about growing apart in separate directions while he packed a suitcase upstairs. Later, a pitying coworker told her about Caitlin humiliating her. A paralegal had worked with Jason for 6 months. Young, ambitious, childless. What Brooke was before children and teaching changed her priorities. As illness spread across her face, Brooke wondered if it was a cosmic punishment for her vanity. She knew the irony of pursuing cosmetic treatments to compete with a woman 10 years her junior to regain her youth. She may have lost her attractiveness forever. No relief in the morning. Delivery issues delayed the specialist medication. Dr. Reeves arrived early, her expression tense as she evaluated Brooke's declining condition. She probed Brooke's jawline's irritated skin, saying the illness is spreading faster than I'd want. Consider more forceful intervention. That means what? Brooke asked, choked with terror. To stop the spread, we may need to remove some of the worst tissue surgically. Reeves's eyes were friendly but straight. A plastic surgeon will consult. Brooke was shocked by the revelation, which required surgery to remove sections of her face. Across Millhaven, the nightmare was worsening beyond her imagination. Outside beachside Serenity Spa, Noah Sullivan peered through windows. Though the spa had opened days earlier, the door was marked closed for refurbishment. His military experience trained him to be systematic and acquire intelligence before acting. Something about this situation broke suffering. He felt protective rage for the first time since his previous deployment at the spa's suspicious closing. He called on his phone. Millhaven Chronicle bill saying, Noah Sullivan, Bill, last year's Veterans Day event introduced us. Noah, how can I help? Have you heard about Main Street's new spa, beach relaxation? Bill chuckled. Funny question. Just writing about new businesses around town. Summer visitors love that site. Martha Calloway is popular in the Chamber of Commerce. Have you investigated her origins, her credentials? A break? No, I have not. Something I should know? Noah paused. He didn't want to spread rumors, but his gut told him something was wrong. My acquaintance was hospitalized with a nasty infection after treatment there. Understanding what happened. It's true. Bill's journalistic curiosity was aroused. Any possibility your acquaintance could tell me a story? Not now. Her health is poor. Noah regarded the gloomy spa. I'd like to hear if other customers have issues. I'll investigate. Bill dropped his voice. We thought her speedy permission approvals were odd. In this town, it takes months without connections. Or money, Noah said. Or both. If I hear anything, I'll call. Noah then visited Town Hall, where public documents were stored. Mrs. Finch, the elderly records clerk, knew Millhaven better than anyone because she had worked there since Nixon. When Noah asked about business permits, she reiterated, a luxurious modern spa. I think everyone's talking about it. Yes, ma'am. Just interested when they filed paperwork. Mrs. Finch adjusted her bifocals and touched her old computer. Let's see. Request for permit submitted September 3rd, September 10th, approval. She looked up, shocked. That's fast, usually 4 to 6 weeks. Who gave consent? Looks like Councilman Whitaker approved. Mrs. Finch scowled. That's unusual. They usually go through the planning board. Can I see the health department inspection report? More typing. That's unusual. A full inspection report is missing. Only conditional approval pending 90-day final inspection. Over her glasses, Mrs. Finch viewed Noah. They shouldn't operate without final approval, but they are, Noah bitterly said. Or was, until recently. Mrs. Finch's lips were thin. Something about that sounds bad, not one bit. My granddaughter wanted a birthday massage there. I suggest she wait. Noah drew near. Mrs. Finch, is Martha Calloway's professional license recorded? It should be. If she submitted appropriately. More scrolling and clicking. Now we go. A Georgia cosmetology license was presented, given to Martha Calloway. Mrs. Finch peered at the television. Last issued 3 months ago, so it seems. Copy whatever you have for me? Mrs. Finch paused. Public records. I suppose that's all right. This is about what, Noah? Working for someone. Just checking on a friend who got sick after treatment there. Old woman's eyes expanded. You don't specify the illness, the ICU causing kind. It was remarkable how fast Mrs. Finch typed. Printing everything we have. I might phone my nephew at the health department. Sounds like they should expedite inspection. Noah departed town hall. Mill Haven's effective rumor mill was working. Mrs. Finch was rarely discretionary. By noon, the coffee shop heard fresh spa issues. The hardware store. Mill Haven Elementary Teachers Lounge. Camps formed immediately in the town. Those who believed Martha would draw tourists to Main Street rejected the rumors as competitive jealousy. Longtime locals who distrusted immigrants nodded confidently as if they'd expected trouble. By mid-afternoon, Noah had a worrisome picture. Although Martha Calloway's documentation seemed credible, several irregularities bothered him. The Georgia cosmetology license is new. Martha claimed decades of experience, yet the firm launched without health inspections. The address on her application was a mail forwarding business, which was particularly concerning. He got a call while going back to Portland. Putting the phone on speaker, Noah Sullivan answered. "Hi Noah, Bill from the Chronicle. Your idea may work. Since we spoke, I've had 2 calls from women who had beach serenity treatments and developed skin irritations. Though not as serious as your friend, they sought medical assistance. Has anyone been informed?" Called the spa directly. She claims Martha promised her a free follow-up to fix the issue. She declined. Smart woman, Noah murmured. Yes, more, Bill continued. I researched Martha Calloway. A Georgia tiny paper reported on Southern Serenity, a day spa that shuttered abruptly after numerous visitors had infections. The owner was Martha Calloway. Noah tightened his steering wheel grip. It was when? 4 years ago. Get this before Georgia. Alabama and Mississippi have similar firms that begin with fanfare, function for a year or two, then close unexpectedly after health complaints. Different names. Sometimes Martha or Margaret, usually with C-A-L as the final name. Calloway, Callahan Calvert. Noah stated she's done this for years. He felt cold rage, transporting between towns, injuring people. Before penalties catch up, disappear. Seems so. I'm writing tomorrow's front page story. This goes beyond small-town commercial disputes. Bill, keep that story for 24 hours. What? Hence the news, Noah, because Martha doesn't know we're after her. If she sees a newspaper piece, she'll flee again before we can receive answers or justice for her victims. A long pause. I dislike waiting on stories. Just one day. I'll talk to police first. Okay, one day. Tomorrow, though, with or without cops. By the time Noah reached Portland Memorial, things had gotten worse. Dr. Reeves greeted Brooke in the hallway as security guards stood outside his room. She looked serious. What happened? Asked Noah. He was alarmed. Miss Wheeler's ex-husband came an hour ago. An event occurred. Kind of incident? Dr. Reeves sighed. He insisted on meeting her despite our concerns regarding her condition. He was overwhelmed by the shock. Then he got upset, saying things that undermined Miss Wheeler's mental health. Is Brooke okay? Physically, nothing has changed for her. Emotionally, Dr. Reeves shook her head. Just claim we gave a light sedative. She had dangerously high blood pressure from stress. Jason, where is he? He left for Millhaven to get their daughter. Said he's taking her to Boston tonight. Noah's jaw stiffened. He said, she's in no condition to make decisions right now without talking to Brooke. Dr. Reeves's tone showed disdain. Security ensures he won't return and cause more trouble until Ms. Wheeler is stabilized. Noah inhaled, suppressing his wrath. Can I see her? She's sleeping, but she'll need a companion when she wakes up. Arm touched by Dr. Reeves. Noah, I know you're researching Martha Calloway. Word travels fast. Small towns, she remarked, smiling. Take care. If this woman is who I think she is, she's avoided penalties for a long time. That kind of person rarely stays quiet when cornered. A courier brought the specialty drug from a Boston hospital to Portland Memorial after midnight. Despite working over 20 hours, Dr. Bennett gave the first dose. He told Brooke, who had woken up sluggish and disoriented, that this compound targets acanthamoeba, more forceful than what we've been utilizing, but the situation requires it. Noah, who had disregarded the nurse's polite suggestions concerning visiting hours, stood at the window while Dr. Bennett delicately removed Brooke's bandages. He kept his back turned to give her solitude, but he heard her sharp inhale when she saw herself in the doctor's glasses. The infection is moving toward your left eye, Dr. Bennett said clinically but kindly. We must block it from accessing ocular tissue. My eye, Brooks' voice broke. I may lose my eye. We'll try everything to stop that, Dr. Bennett promised. But I want to be honest about our situation. Brooks stared at the wall in silence after the doctor departed. Noah turned and slowly approached her bed. Can I get you something? Water, another blanket. Brooks shook her head and winced. Jason returns Emma to Boston. Not a question. According to Dr. Reeves, Noah refused to lie to her. He determined I was incompetent without consulting me. Her voice rang hollow. He may be right. Look at me. Can I be this type of mother? Noah definitely stated that you were the same 3 days prior. Your identity to Emma remains unchanged. Doesn't? His face should have shown. Noah saw me like seeing a monster. She shed tears on her scarred cheeks. How can Emma not be scared if Jason reacted that way? Noah brought a chair to her bed. Kid surprises. They see differently than adults. That awful spa still haunts me because I wanted to look pretty again and compete with a 10-year-old. Brooke laughed bitterly. See where vanity took me. It's not about vanity. Brooke, the issue is criminal negligence. Martha Calloway did it before, to women in other towns. That drew her eye. What? Noah warned her about the spa's opening and shutting patterns, strange timing, and Martha's documentation discrepancies. As he spoke, Brooke's self-pity changed into strength. After finishing, Brooke stated she must be stopped. Before she hurts someone else, police are looking for her. Tomorrow's Chronicle Tale is by Bill. Noah paused. Brooke, concentrate on improving. Let others handle Martha. Her response was interrupted by a corridor ruckus. Loud conversations, rapid footsteps, rubber-soled shoes on linoleum. Dr. Reeves entered the doorway without her customary poise. We need Mr. Sullivan outside. Now. Noah followed her into the corridor where a security guy was detaining a messy Jason Wheeler. Emma, holding a plush rabbit, stood a few steps away, her young face blanched with perplexity and terror. Sir, I've mentioned that a doctor must approve a child's ICU admission, the guard said. She should see her mother. Jason sounded too loud on the calm hospital floor. My daughter needs to say goodbye before departing for Boston tonight. Jason, Noah spoke softly as he advanced. This isn't the solution. Jason spun him. Who are you to advise me on family matters? Self-appointed guardian neighbor. Avoid this. Mr. Wheeler, Dr. Reeves intervened, uncompromising. Your daughter needs preparedness to enter that room. Emma, your ex-wife's child, requires support before witnessing someone they love in such a position. Emma's soft voice broke the tension. Is Mommy dying? All the grown-ups went silent, staring at the crying girl. Noah bent to Emma's level. No, honey. Your mom is very ill, but physicians are helping her. Why can't I see her? Daddy insisted we say goodbye. Noah stared at Jason, who was at least ashamed. Dr. Tunn, your dad meant goodbye tonight since you'll stay with him till your mom gets better. Reeves handled Emma with grandmotherly charm instead of professional sternness. Your mommy looks different due to a facial infection. It may be scary to watch her that way without context. Emma thought this, holding her rabbit tightly. No fear. I want Mommy. The adults glanced. Finally, Dr. Reeves nods. Mr. Wheeler, I want to prepare Emma by talking to her alone. We'll see if Miss Wheeler wants to visit briefly. Jason suggested I join her. I doubt it, Dr. Reeves asserted. Your ex-wife was traumatized by your response. Emma will meet with a nurse or Mr. Sullivan. Jason opened his mouth to argue but closed it, possibly understanding he'd lost. Fine, but we leave in 30 minutes. The drive to Boston is long. Emma explained Brooke's face to Dr. Reeves in the quiet consultation room using basic, kind terms. She showed photographs of similar diseases on a medical tablet and said the redness and swelling were like a nasty bee sting. She determined that your mommy loves you and may require more attention from you because she's sad about being sick. Emma listened quietly, nodding. I created her a picture, she added, removing a folded paper from her pocket. Us at the beach. That should please her. Dr. Reeves grinned. Are you ready to see her? Waiting is fine, Emma declared. I'm ready, despite her 7 years. Noah waited outside Brooke's room. Your mom's eager to see you, he told Emma. Brooke was afraid, but Dr. Reeves reassured her Emma was ready. Dr. Reeves advised Noah to make the visit brief, 5 minutes at most, because Ms. Wheeler's health is still severe and emotional stress could worsen it. Noah nodded and clasped Emma's little hand. "Get ready, youngster." Emma nodded with little shoulders straightened. They entered a dimly lit room with drapes pulled against the late afternoon sun. Although Brooke was propped up and her face was partially wrapped, the furious red inflammation and yellowish blisters around her eyes and forehead were still obvious. Emma halted in the doorway, her eyes widening. Noah worried she would bolt when her hand tightened in his. "Emma." Brooke's voice was drugged and emotional. "Hi, honey." Words broke the enchantment. Emma left Noah and gently approached the bed. "Does it hurt, Mom?" Brooke nodded somewhat, "But I'm taking medicine." Emma inspected her mother's face with the intensity only children can, observing every aspect without judgment. She walked onto the chair near the bed and carefully placed her drawing on Brooke's lap, surprising everyone. "I made this for you. We were at the beach last summer. You're helping me create a sandcastle." The crayon artwork brought tears to Brooke's eyes. "Beautiful, Em. Daddy requires my company tonight," Emma whispered. "I'd rather not." "It's temporary," Brooke managed, but the words were glass in her throat. "Can I stay with Mr. Sullivan till I'm better? He's near my school and lets me pet his dog." Kids' simple logic. Brooke looked up at Noah, who stood awkwardly by the entrance, seemingly surprised by the suggestion. Brooke answered gently, "We'd have to discuss that with your dad. I expect you'll enjoy Boston. You may visit the aquarium." Emma looked serious. "Will this be your face forever?" The question every adult feared to ask. Swallowed hard, Brooke. "No, honey, it'll look different and I may have scars. Doctors are helping me." Emma nodded, accepting this with childlike resilience. Falling off her bike scarred Lily Patterson's knee. "She says she looks tough." Despite everything, Brooke laughed a tiny, painful chuckle. "Real, though. Nice way to think about things." They left too soon. Emma leaned over to avoid Brooke's worst injuries and kissed her mother's less injured face when the nurse said the visit was ended. "I adore you, Mommy, even if your face differs. I adore you too, sweetheart. Above all else." The girl looked up as Noah took Emma back to the waiting room where Jason paced nervously. "Mommy is still there." Within her face, "Absolutely," Noah assured her. "Your mom remains unchanged." This answer satisfied Emma, who nodded. "I thought so." Brooke felt better after talking to her daughter. However, her condition worsened dramatically throughout the evening. Despite specialized medicine, the virus had invaded her left eye tissue. Her temperature reached 103, and morphine couldn't relieve her suffering. They dreaded Dr. Bennett's verdict after midnight. "We must surgically remove the most contaminated tissue," he told Brooke, with Dr. Reeves sadly alongside him. "We have our best chance to establish a firebreak to prevent the virus from reaching your eye." "Surgery?" Dully, Brooke repeated. The word no longer frightened her in the face of constant anguish. "When we schedule," or Dr. Reeves stated, "I'll help our plastic surgeon, Dr. Kavanaugh, at 6 a.m., most talented in New England." "Brooke, will I?" Brooke had trouble forming the question. "How much will it cost to erase the doctor's glances?" "We won't know the extent till surgery," Dr. Bennett added. "Depending on the advancement, we're looking at major left cheek and possibly forehead debridement." Debridement, a clinical word for removing her face. Brooke said she understood, though she didn't, not really. How could anyone understand this after the physicians left? Noah returned from his cafeteria coffee break. The mood changed immediately and alarmingly. "What happened?" he questioned, setting down the untouched coffee. "Tomorrow a.m., Brooke spoke flatly. "They'll remove pieces of my face to prevent infection from reaching my eye." Noah slumped on her bedside chair. "That may be needed," said Dr. Reeves. "Necessary," Brooke concurred. "Any of this necessary? A facial?" "It was meant to be that." "I got a stupid facial to feel pretty." "Brooke." "No, don't say it'll be fine." Her voice cracked with emotion. "It'll be bad. Even if I live, I'll look bad. Own daughter won't recognize me. My pupils will be alarmed. Not just a few scars. I'm losing parts of my face." Noah gave genuine assurances. He took her hand and held it, minding the IV lines. "I'm afraid." A long stillness prompted Brooke to whisper, "I know." "So would I. After surgery, will you be here?" "Sure," he promised. "I'll attend." Brooke's fever and drugs blurred her waking and dreaming as the night progressed. In her lucid moments, she thought about Emma, her life in Millhaven, and the woman who had done this tour and then gone between midnight and dawn as nurses checked vitals and adjusted prescriptions. Brooke chose, if she survived, a big if, she would not let Martha Calloway go free. No matter how long it took, she would make sure that lady never hurt anyone again. The surgical team worked nearly 5 hours. After discovering the illness had progressed deeper than imaging had revealed, doctors increased the targeted debridement to include numerous subcutaneous tissue locations. Dr. Kavanaugh, Brooke's plastic surgeon, had to remove large parts of her left cheek, forehead, and jawline where the amoeba had invaded the deeper tissue layers. Noah alternated between pacing and reading obsolete magazines in the operating lounge. Dr. Reeves emerged first, wearing her surgical cap and looking indifferent. She simply claimed she's recovering. Although the procedure was more extensive than expected, we believe we removed all actively infected tissue. How bad? Noah braced and asked. Sighing, Dr. Reeves removed her cap to expose her silver hair flattened against her head. Her left face needed considerable debridement. Our main goal was to save her eye. However, her surrounding tissue declined. After stabilization, she'll need numerous reconstructive surgery but will survive. The residual infection seems to be responding to the specific medication. Dr. Reeves clasped Noah's arm. She'll need lots of help. Physical and emotional, Mr. Sullivan. One of her most noteworthy accomplishments is facial deformity. Noah answered, I understand, but he wasn't sure anyone could completely comprehend until they lived it. Her recovery will last many hours. Then ICU again. Why don't you rest, shower, and eat something other than vending machine food at home? Noah shook his head. I promised to be there when she woke up. Little smile from Dr. Reeves, you might say that. Try the cafeteria for a proper supper. Many hours will pass before she wakes up. Noah entered the hospital chapel after a brief meal he barely tasted. He wasn't religious, but the calm room was a relief from the hospital's sterility. He bowed in a back pew, preparing for the future rather than praying. As Brooke prepared to see her reflection for the first time, the recovery room was quiet save for monitor beeps and nurse murmurs. Brooke floated in a cloud, aware of suffering but distant from it, as if it belonged to someone else. She heard Dr. Reeves talking. She's awakening. Can Brooke hear me? Brooke tried to nod, but her head felt heavy, her face burned under tight bandages, and she felt a peculiar internal and exterior pressure. Surgery went fine. Dr. Reeves said we stopped the infection. You'll survive. Okay. The words sound foreign. Brooke stopped talking. She opened her right eye. The left was bandaged and saw Dr. Reeves's tired but smiling face above her. The doctor advised rest. We'll chat more when you're awake. Brooke retreated into darkness, grateful for its embrace. She returned to her ICU room after regaining consciousness. The burning pain worsened as the surgical anesthesia wore off, but medication simply muted it. Noah read a book next her bed but put it down when he saw her open eye. Softly, he said, Hey, welcome back. Brooke wanted to speak, but her mouth was dry. Noah gently held a straw and cup of water to her lips. After a few drinks, she whispered, How bad? Noah paused. They got all the diseased tissue, say physicians. That matters. Noah. Brooke saw avoidance via pain and drugs. How awful is my face? He looked at her. The operation was more extensive than expected, but Dr. Kavanaugh is discussing reconstructive alternatives after you heal. Brooke closed her eye, shedding a tear on her unbandaged cheek. Need to see. Too soon, Brooke. I need to know about the bandages. Her voice grew stronger. Please find a mirror. Noah was torn but nodded. Ask the nurse what's authorized. Teresa, the sweet nurse, was reluctant but understanding. She advised against it so soon after surgery. However, I understand curiosity. She pulled a little hand mirror from a drawer. Remember that you'll look different after healing and repair. Yes, Brooke stole herself. Teresa carefully raised her bed and gave Noah the mirror. Ready? He inquired. He looked serious. No, Brooke whispered. Show me anyway. Noah angled the mirror to show her face. Even with most of the left side bandaged, the damage was obvious. What little flesh was visible around the bandages was angry red and swollen to twice its normal size. Her right side, albeit less damaged, had yellowish patches and raw, weeping skin. But her exposed left eye betrayed the actual story. It was surrounded by sunken tissue with large parts missing, creating an artificial hollow. The eyelid drooped oddly, Brooke looked for what seemed like an eternity, attempting to connect this horrific sight with her lifelong face. She wouldn't be here. This horror film creature couldn't be Brooke Wheeler, who was once told she had a room-lighting smile. She turned aside, saying enough. Noah immediately lowered the mirror. Nurse walked forward. The edema will decrease in the coming weeks, and Dr. Kavanaugh is a top reconstructive surgeon. Brooke didn't reply. She was numb, shielded from what she'd seen. Noah remained silently by the nurse after she left, obviously realizing that words could not help. When Brooke spoke, it was hollow. Emma shouldn't see me like this. Brooke, no, I won't traumatize my daughter. The choice became clear with dreadful clarity. Jason's right. She should stay with him temporarily or forever. Not your intent. Look at me. Noah. Outburst hurt her, sending pain softly across her damaged face. She continued, I can give her what kind of life now? Hospital visits will continue for an unknown time. I'll be a freak that other kids mock. How fair is that to her? Kids persevere. Em loves you. I want better for her because I adore her. Brooke looked away, exhausted by the conversation. I must rest. The next morning brought more bad news. Thomas Hargrove, the school principal, contacted to offer his condolences and explain Brooke's situation. We have a long-term substitute till the end of the semester, he said kindly. You'll find your employment when you return. Of course. Both understood the hidden truth. The school year was 2 months old. As expected, Brooke may not return to school until the following year if she needs many reconstructive surgery and extensive rehabilitation. A little community like Millhaven valued teachers. They wouldn't keep hers forever. Financial reality hit Brooke like a tangible weight. Health insurance covers most of her medical expenditures, but not all, without her teaching salary. How would she pay mortgage? A modest home she'd bought as a fresh start suddenly felt like an anchor weighing her down, sensing her misery. The hospital social worker arrived that afternoon with a packet of information and possibilities. She praised medical leave, disability benefits, and support groups. Behind the caring language, Brooke heard that her life was over. Bill's Millhaven Chronicle expose on Martha Calloway the next day was the ultimate blow. The piece described her history of spa-related diseases in different states, her tendency of fleeing when complaints were made, and her apparent escape from Millhaven, abandoning her rented flat and the spa. Noah visited with a newspaper and confirmed she was gone. Yesterday, police tried to arrest her, but she abandoned most of her belongings. She gets away with it. Again, Brooke's voice was flat. She damages my face, profession, and relationship with my kid, then leaves to the next town with a new name. Noah said they'd find her. This time's different. Your case is worse and has paper trails. Brooke had stopped listening. She had a gloomy idea that maybe she shouldn't have survived. Emma would have cried, but children were tough, and everyone kept assuring her she would have memories of a smooth-faced mother. Jason would have told her about her mother's beauty. Instead, Emma would grow up with a mother whose face frightened strangers, who might never teach again, and who was a burden. That night in her hospital room, Brooke Wheeler faced her darkest moment, worse than Jason leaving her and worse than the infection's agony. She regarded the ceiling, wondering how she could move forward if she wanted to. She wondered if she should end it all. Wouldn't everyone benefit? As if responding. A text message lit up her phone. Noah helped her place it on a stand to see it with her uncovered eye. This was from Mrs. Patterson, photo of Emma holding a drawing. One small stick figure had pigtails, while the other was bigger with long brown hair and facial bandages. 2 huge crescent moons smiled. Emma carefully printed my mommy as a hero above them. She fights invisible demons. Brooke looked at the drawing until tears confused her eyes, dragging her back from the abyss. Though she lost her face, she was still Emma's mother and a hero. That should do for tonight. 3 weeks following surgery, Brooke was led home. The infection was overcome, but at great cost. Multiple discussions with Dr. Kavanaugh had defined a reconstructive plan that would require at least 3 more surgeries over the following year and not guarantee a return to her old self. In their final hospital session, Dr. Reeves advised little efforts to address bodily wounds first. Time will complete it. Easy to say when you saw yourself. Brooke contemplated silently. Noah drove her back to Millhaven in November's grayness, rain streaking automobile windows and concealing the coast. Despite the car's privacy glass, Brooke crouched in the passenger seat with a shawl about her lower face. In these weeks, Their stillness was heavy but pleasant. Their bond was based on presence, not words. Noah added, I called Mrs. Patterson as they passed the town boundaries sign. This morning she stocked your fridge and switched on the heat. Thanks, Brooke whispered, muffled by the scarf. For everything. How would I have survived without you? Noah looked at her briefly before returning to the rainy road. You'd succeed? You're stronger than you think. Brooke's gut twisted when they entered her driveway. Her blue cottage, once a symbol of her new beginning, suddenly felt like a stage she wasn't ready to act on. How would she handle her new life alone? How would she handle neighbors, friends, and strangers' curiosity? I can linger, Noah suggested, reading her hesitancy. Help you settle? Brooke nodded, thankful beyond words. From the stack of ungraded student artwork on the dining table to Emma's toys neatly organized on the living room shelf to the half-empty coffee mug she abandoned when she received Jason's legal documents, everything remained as she left it nearly a month earlier, like entering a museum of her past. Noah brought in her things while Brooke stood in the living room feeling like a ghost. Letter magnets held Emma's drawings of beaches, playgrounds, and stick figure families with big smiles on the refrigerator. Would she draw her mother smiling again? The phone interrupted her thoughts. She left it on voicemail, unprepared to speak. He kept phoning, hanging up, and calling again. Noah looked at the caller ID, Bill from Chronicle. Brooke sighed and picked up. Hello, Bill. Thank God, Brooke. Been trying to reach you. Bill's voice seemed unusually urgent. See today's paper? Just arrived home from the hospital. You must see this. Augusta resident Patricia Lawson came out yesterday. A spa treatment 30 years ago caused a similar infection. Brooke gripped the receiver. 30 years, Doc. Treatment was mentioned by Reeves. Yes. Here's the twist. Patricia was more than a client. It happened while she worked at the spa. Martha or Margaret are familiar to her. Brooke's sadness was lifted by her self-calling. The things? Can I come over instead of calling? Patricia's with me. Interested in meeting you. Brooke instinctively touched her scarf-covered face. The idea of outsiders seeing her terrified her. However, this may be her only chance to learn about the woman who shattered her life. Finally, she responded, Give me an hour. After hanging up, she faced Noah. Her features showed anxiety. They shouldn't see me like this, Noah pondered. How about a meeting at my house? Sit in the den with low lights. Greater control. Brooke nodded, thanks. That might work. An hour later, Brooke sat in Noah's cozy den, positioned to partially shade her face. She wore the scarf despite the room's heat. After Noah called Bill with the change of location, Brooke's heart pounded against her ribs as they waited. Noah answered the doorbell. Brooke heard welcomes and footsteps. She kept her cool, resisting the temptation to go. Bill entered first, his grizzled newsman face serious. Behind him was a woman in her early 50s with short gray hair and sharp eyes that instantly sought Brooke in the shadows. Brooke Wheeler. This is Patricia Lawson, Bill said. Patricia. Brooke is recovering from surgery, so we're keeping things low-key. Patricia advanced, her gaze direct despite the darkness. Without preface, she said, I understand. Had been there. Brooke was surprised by the straightforward, confident statement. Your infection was identical. Similar, but not same. Patricia showed her jagged wrist to elbow scar by raising her sleeve. On my arm, not my face. I got lucky. Doctors stopped it from spreading. Were you her employee? Brooke questioned, leaning forward. Patricia nodded and sat across from Brooke. Elegant Day Spa in Augusta, 1991 for Margaret Callahan. The employment was essential at 28, newly divorced. Her mouth curled wryly. Sound familiar? Brooke saw the parallel. What happened? I was employed for basic pedicures and manicures. Margaret did her own facials and more expensive treatments. The spa looked great, but I noticed things. Reusing supplies, diluting products, and water were her shortcuts. Pat shook her head. She used her expensive glasses of premium mineral water for everything. Where did it originate? Noah asks. That's it. Once I saw her fill those containers with a garden hose behind the building. She said she added unique minerals as part of her proprietary process when I asked. I disbelieved her. I needed the job. How were you infected? Brooke asks. Patricia fingered her scar. Next day, I cut myself cleaning equipment. Arm was red and swollen. I was hospitalized within 3 days with physicians discussing amputation if the infection couldn't be controlled. Under her scarf, Brooke shuddered. Martha Margaret did what? Denied everything. Supposed I got infected someplace. 2 clients got similar infections after facials. Not as bad as mine, but the health department was engaged. Patricia leaned forward. Then she vanished. Overnight. Left everything at spa. Just gone. Just like here, Bill interjected. Police found her empty flat. Most equipment remains at the spa. That's not why I came forward. Patricia continued. The article about you struck me. Margaret stated stuff after closing after she'd had too much alcohol. She described spas she'd ran in Florida and Georgia, always opening with celebration. Work until issues developed. Disappear. Begin again under a different name. Noah was shocked to learn she's done this for decades. Patricia grimly nodded. I know of 30 years. What's important now? I know her possible destination. A rush of adrenaline hit Brooke. How? She described a lakeside home in northern Vermont where she went between assignments, said it was her refuge because it was corporately owned. Not her name. Chrysalis Holdings was unusual, so I remember it. Bill was taking notes. Chrysalis, like a butterfly, fits someone who changes identities. Before seeing your story, Patricia told Brooke, I never understood, but I think she hides there till she can recreate herself. The mind raced as Brooke sat back. She was obsessed by her misfortune for weeks. She concentrated on daily survival. Something else sparked purpose, a thirst for justice. Have you notified police? She asked. Made a statement yesterday. Patricia agreed. They're investigating, but she hesitated. However, these circumstances are difficult. Without Martha in jail and direct evidence linking her to your infection, criminal negligence is impossible to prove. Patricia shrugged. The cops were hesitant to search beyond state lines for her. She may get away with it again, Brooke muttered coldly. Bill said with conviction, not if we can help it. Doing some digging. Martha, whomever she is, has victimized at least 6 states. If we connect them, make a complete case. Brooke stated it won't change my past. Her hand unintentionally touched her scarf-covered cheek. No. Softly, Patricia agreed. That damage is irreparable. I know. I've lived with scars for 30 years, but it may prevent it from happening to others. Patricia talked about Martha Margaret and her surgery for an hour. Brooke realized as they talked that her tragedy was part of a broader cycle that had repeated for decades since no one had connected the links or pursued justice. After Bill and Patricia left, promising to keep Brooke updated, she stayed in Noah's den and stared into the fireplace he kindled as the afternoon turned to dusk. You think what? Noah asked, returning with 2 tea mugs. Brooke took the tea, holding the warm mug. I'm thinking about all the women who came before me and those who may follow if she's not stopped. Noah assured the cops would find her, but he was hesitant. Maybe? Brooke drank tea. She winced when the hot liquid reached her tender lips. Not sure they're taking it seriously. An infection causing spa owner, a priority crime? No. What exactly are you suggesting? Brooke stared at him with more fury than he'd seen in weeks. I suggest finding her ourselves. We received more information from Patricia than the cops. Chrysalis Holdings, Vermont cabin, a starting point. Noah regarded her intently. You sure you're ready? Your recovery continues. Brooke said I'll never be the same. Her voice grows. I must do this, Noah. I must confront her and show her her wrongdoing. She should face consequences once. It was if the cosmos was waiting for this resolution. Brooke received a text. She didn't recognize the number. Photo attached. Hand trembled as she opened it. Despite her recently bleached blonde hair, Martha Calloway was recognizable on a wooden terrace facing a lake. Mountains in background. Simple message below. You might want to know where your spa lady went. My relative rents her the Lake Champlain cabin next to his. Declares herself Mary Campbell. Tom, Millhaven Hardware. Brooke regarded the image, hearing her heartbeat hammering. After weeks of despair. Being controlled rather than leading. A way forward revealed immediately. Noah, she said. He turned the phone to look. I think we found her. 6 months later, Brooke Wheeler faced her Millhaven elementary art class, watching 23 third graders take their seats. The windows let in spring sunshine, caught dust motes and cast slanting rectangles of light over aged linoleum. After nearly 7 months, it was her first day back, it seemed. Good morning, everyone, she said. She was relieved her voice was almost normal. Those unfamiliar with me, I'm Miss Wheeler. A jungle of tiny hands appeared instantly. Brooke anticipated queries. Kids were naturally intrigued, especially her appearance. The reconstructive operations worked wonders. The left side of her face still showed the result of her eye dropping. Skin puckered around her cheekbone. A patchwork of skin grafts that changed texture somewhat, instead of contacting pupils. Brooke grinned after months of practice with her changed facial muscles. It's okay to ask questions. I appear different now, unlike most individuals you know. She lightly stroked her cheek. An infection that affected my skin made me unwell last fall. Doctors performed many procedures to heal me. Small girl in first row. Again, Emma's friend Lily raised her hand. Hurt? Not anymore, Brooke replied truthfully. It started, very lot. It's occasionally tighter now. As with a healed sunburn. Another hand. Will it always look that? Yes, mostly. I may undergo another operation this summer. I think this is my new face. Brooke headed for supplies. You know what? That's okay. Because our faces alter with time. They show our adventures, joys, and sorrows. Mine changed faster than most. Paper and art supplies were distributed. Special things are coming up today. Self-portraits won't merely be of our appearance. Think about what makes you special inside, too. Brooke encouraged and guided the children as they worked. Her months-long anxiety that youngsters might be terrified by her look was misplaced. It appeared that children were more adaptable than adults thought. They asked direct questions, accepted straightforward answers, and moved on without the awkwardness of many adult conversations. Brooke saw a spring festival banner on the town green through the classroom window. It boldly stated Justice for Brooke fundraiser. The community event would collect money for her medical expenditures, which had decreased since Martha Calloway's arrest and victims' class action lawsuit. Standing on Lake Champlain with Noah on a frigid December morning, watching Vermont State Police lead a handcuffed Martha from her hideout felt strange. In those few weeks, the woman aged a decade, her exquisite mask collapsing when she recognized Brooke despite her scarf and hat covering her face. You, Martha snarled, losing her southern accent and composure. How did you find me? Brooke stood up and purposefully unwrapped her scarf to see her scars. Look at what you did to me, she whispered. Keep my face in mind every day in prison. Martha flinched and moved away, but the officer turned her back. He said firmly, The lady asked you to look at her. I advise it. That confrontation made Brooke's wounds more bearable, not healed. 8 states, dozens of victims, and 30 years of Martha's operation were revealed by the investigation. The charges included significant fraud, practicing without a license, criminal carelessness causing physical harm, and more. Martha's assets, including Chrysalis Holdings, were blocked during the civil action. Brooke would receive financial recompense, but it would never replace what she lost. The community that supported her was more important than money. Initially divided over the affair, Millhaven eventually supported her. Principal Hargrove worked with the school board to keep her teaching job. Her neighbors prepared meal trains after each surgery. And Noah was steady. Noah was patient through it all, his relationship growing into something deeper and most precious. Emma lived with her again in February. Jason agreed that Emma needed her mother, wounded face and all, after considerable conversation and several therapist-guided visits. Emma would spend school years in Millhaven and summers in Boston under their new custody agreement. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. And seeing Emma's artwork on the fridge again healed Brooke like no surgery could. A little voice from Miss Wheeler interrupted her thoughts. Help me with my photo? Brooke kneeled near a freckled child struggling with his self-portrait. Tyler, what are you showing? I want to draw myself brave, he said, not sure how to show that outside. Brooke grinned. Despite pulling at her scars, the expression is now natural, like breathing. Some of the bravest people look the same. Their actions demonstrate courage. Brooke saw her reflection in the classroom glass as she helped Tyler add details to his artwork. The asymmetrical face that had scared her was now the face of a woman who had lived, sought justice, and rebuilt her life. Emma, Miss Wheeler, came in the classroom doorway, her class on a restroom break. Her wave was enthusiastic. I told everyone my mom teaches painting again. That's right, honey. Heart-filled, Brooke called back. I'm back. She was perhaps stronger, more compassionate, more aware of both the fragility and resilience of the human spirit, and more aware that beauty existed in many forms, and that the face in the mirror was just one small part of who she truly was, than when she entered Seaside Serenity Spa last October. Emma remembered something Dr. Derives told her during her final checkup as she skipped back to her classroom and Brooke helped her pupils. Scars mark our past, but they don't define our future. Brooke Wheeler finally moved forward today, surrounded by children's laughter and inventiveness. Brooke Wheeler's story resonates with us because we all have life scars, some obvious, others hidden. We reared our kids believing we could protect them from anything. To discover that everyone feels pain like Brooke. Many of us have seen a stranger in the mirror due to illness, aging, or life's unpleasant surprises. We've worried about becoming burdens to those we love. But her story reminds us of truths we've learned over the years. Communities rally when one of their own falls. Children see with clearer eyes than we think. Justice, while imperfect, matters, and purpose can emerge from our deepest wounds. Brooke proves that we're still growing at our age. Reinvention is our specialty. She's speaking our language when she tells those children that scars remind us of where we've been but don't determine our future. Every wrinkle, heartbreak, and rebound has taught us knowledge, right? Faces tell stories, and thank God, those stories continue.